So hi everyone. This is Roshan. I am a product manager and I look after HDFC Sky. So today, um, our main focus about HDFC Sky, I'll zoom in a bit, would be regarding the MTF or the margin trading facility that is offered by our platform. Right? So for those of you who are new to this concept, MTF stands for margin trading facility. In this, if to put it in simpler terms, you can buy shares or stocks for a lesser amount than you would usually pay. Right? I'll show you a live example and then I'll get into the details of how you can do it. Right? So this is the Sky web platform. It is very similar in the app itself as well. Right? Let's say you want to buy, let's pick Yes Bank for example's sake. Let's say it's in your watch list and you click on buy. Right? As you can see, I'll just come here. So delivery, intraday, and there's a third type called MTF. So we'll come to that. First, let's say you want to buy the stock for as delivery as a holding in your portfolio. So if you look at it for one quantity, let's make this 1,000 quantities. Right? Let's say the margin required or the available money that you have to bring in to buy this order would be 2,300 rupees. Right? But as you can see, I only have 300 rupees here. Right? So in this case, I'd be discouraged, right? Here it says, it says available margin is enough to buy only 13 quantities. So let's say, but no, I have a plan. I have some expert tip. I want to buy 15 quantities, 50 quantities at least, right? But as you can see here, I won't be able to buy as I do not have sufficient margin to do this, right? But here you can see I can buy the same with MTF as well for only 318 rupees, right? So let's say I make this 40, right? I make this 40. Margin required with 934, but I only have 300 available with me, right? But using MTF, I can buy 40 for 254. So I can just click on this tab. I'll be shifted to the MTF tab. And now you can see I can buy 40 quantities, which would have ideal case taken me around 200 rupees. I can just buy it for 260 rupees. Right? This is the power of MTF. Right? So what is MTF? MTF is margin trading funding. This buying an MTF is for you as a user is completely same as buying the stock in delivery, right? There is no much change, but obviously there are some cases that you need to take care of, right? Um, let's say you purchase this order, right? And after purchasing, you can come to your portfolio and view it in your MTF tab. Right? So these are the holdings that, if you can see, I have bought in MTF. Right? And holdings are also separate. So it gives a clear view in HDFC Sky platform that how many stocks have I bought as MTF, how many have I bought as holdings, right? Normal delivery, right? The advantage of MTF, as I already explained, that you can buy more quantity with less amount, right? Depending on your margin available, right? So now here are two parts to it, right? Yes Bank, for example, in our example, you needed 1,000 rupees to buy, let's say, 50 quantities, but you were able to buy the same with paying only 200, right, using MTF. So the rest funding amount, right, the rest 800 rupees was funded by HDFC Sky or HDFC Securities for your MTF position, right? So 200 rupees you gave in, 800 rupees was funded by the broker, in this case, HDFC Sky, right? So for that 800 rupees that has been lent to you for holding your MTF position, HDFC Sky will charge a very nominal interest rate of 1% per month, right? And that clear bifurcation is visible here, right, in your MTF positions tab. Right, as you can see here, I have put in 3,000 rupees of my own and amount borrowed. This is the amount funded by the broker, which is 8,000, right? So I am paying 8,000 rupees. I'm not paying 8,000. 8,000 was lent to me, and on this 8,000, I am paying interest of 1% per month only, right? So now, in this case, I have the freedom to hold the position as well. And as you can see, obviously my profit returns percentage increase, right? As I have more quantity, let's say Instead of buying one quantity, I was able to buy 4 quantity, and the stock went up. So my returns become 4x in this case. Ideally, it would have been 1x if I had just bought one quantity. But since I was able to invest 4, now my profit has gone up. Returns percentage has gone up by 4 times, right? Thanks to MTF, right? So keep in mind that the stock not only can go up, it can go down as well, as you can see in my portfolio itself. Right? This is sample portfolio, right? The stock has gone down, right? So in that case, also we have to be mindful that not only up, it can go down as well, right? Uh, and now let's say you square off the position after making a profit or after incurring a loss. Entire profit, whatever, that a broker has no part in it. Broker will just, take this amount back, whatever you had funded. All the profit are with you. You have access to all of it, right? And similarly, what keep in mind in the case of loss, entire loss is also borne from your margin itself, right? So there are two parts to it. But if we trade sensibly, obviously we will are more likely to, be safe with our position, right? So this is what MTF generally is. In Sky, we have bifurcated it and kept it very simple and easy to understand for users. How many stocks I have in MTF, how many I have in holdings, what margin has been used, what has been funded, which is not available with other brokers as such, right? You can see here, it's clearly written. This is the margin that you have input 3,000, and this is the amount that has been borrowed, right? So all that clear bifurcation is there. Now, just taking a step further for MTF, like which stocks are eligible for MTF, how do I know everything, right? So in the order pad itself, if the stock is eligible for MTF, you will get this tab. Let's take a script. I'm not sure, but maybe this is not eligible for MTF. Yeah, so in Sky, it's very clear that this script is not eligible for MTF, right? So you'll give a red mark and you won't be able to buy in that. So we have protected you like that also. You're not placing an MTF order in a script which is not allowed, right? We also have something called an MTF smart list, right? So I'll just quickly show you what that is. Here you can see all the MTF stocks that are available for you to invest in, right? That's a huge list. Let's say you have some particular stock in mind. Let's say I want to invest in HDFC Bank. Right, you can search for HDFC Bank. Actually, is not allowed in HDFC Sky, but let's just take Reliance. Right, as you can see here, its actual price is 1,500, but using MTF, you can buy it for 377, and 75% funding is given by HDFC. Right, and click on buy, and MTF order you'll be able to place. Right, so this entire list with funding percentage is available here. I think you can filter it also here depending on what your appetite is for the funding percentage. Right, let's say you don't want more funding. Right, you want your requirement is I want to fund 60 or 65% on my own, and the rest by HDFC. Those stocks are available. You can see here, right? SpiceShares, NetWeb, Gabriel, TVS Limited. So all these stocks are with less funding. So you have the option to use that as well. Right? So this is a very useful feature for customers, right? And now taking it a step further, you can also see in Sky, right? As you can see, trending on Sky, what are our users doing with MTF? What stocks are they picking? Right? You can make it as a reference, but obviously you should always do your own research as well before buying and selling. But you can take this as a reference and see that okay, these are stocks being bought by Sky users. Right? It's just data for you to have a look at. Right? Most about MTF on Sky. Since we have our in-house research team also, which becomes very handy in this case, you have the option to come to a research section, right? You can access from discover section or from the research on top and come to MTF tab. Here you can see all the research calls that have been published by our analyst team. You can see them here also as well. Yet, what are the recommendations they're saying with the recommended price? Where should we buy, and where should we exit? After how many potential results should we exit? Right. So we can click on it, and as you can see, we can see the complete detail here. Right. So let's say this stock Mastec. You can see when was it last updated. You can see that the recommendation is we can earn up to 6% in 10 days, and you can buy this with MTF. Okay? We also show is already up by some amount since yesterday. Recommended price, target price, current price. So since it's around recommended price right now, the LTP, it is advised to enter this position, right? If you want to read more details about the research, you can obviously click on the detailed report, and you have access to the entire research publication about why is this recommended. You have the access to read that as well, right? So you can make your own informed decision while transacting MTF. Right? So now there's one more thing about MTF, right? The time period for which you can hold an MTF position, the is 275 working days, right? That's roughly 1 calendar year, right? You can access that and share information here itself. Let's say I bought this Suzlon stock on 23rd September, right? So I can come here, I can see that 244 days are left for me to hold this position. At the end of this countdown, your MTF position will be squared off by risk. And you can see it's a clear bifurcation that for purchasing this stock, I paid 38 and I borrowed 77. Okay? So that is, it's a very clear bifurcation that current value is this much. Invested value was 119 and ours is 119. Margin used from my ledger is 38, or I funded this by cash by this. And amount borrowed by that amount was given by the broker for this position is 77. I can hold this position for 1 year and make profit and loss accordingly and make my own decisions. Right? You can obviously add an SLR target also with GTT, but that's for another webinar. Right? Now let's say funds, right? Okay, I've invested in MTF, but how do I see how much cash I have in MTF, how much I have in margin? So here you can see clear bifurcation in our available margin tab, right? Or funds tab rather. How much stock is eligible that I can, how much margin I have for stocks and how much margin I have for MTF. Right. In MTF, there's an advantage for buying stocks in MTF. You can use collateral margin also. So I'll just quickly cover what is collateral margin, and we'll come back to this fund section. Right. The collateral margin is basically you can pledge your holdings, right, and get an additional margin for trading in MTF and FNO. Right. So as you can see here, I have my holdings. Right. I'll just quickly show this because it's relevant to MTF. So I have these many stocks which are not pledged, and I can pledge these stocks and get additional margin of 2,000. Now this 2,000 I can use for MTF or FNO trading as well. And this is also an advantage of HDFC Sky platform, right? You don't even need to bring in extra cash to purchase an MTF. If you already have holdings, you can pledge the holdings, get additional margin and use it in MTF. Right? The interest charges for pledging and utilizing the margin is same as MTF. It's 1% per month. Right? So it's a great great way for investors, right, who want to invest more without losing flexible with the additional flexibility of not having to bring in extra cash. Right? If you have a holding here, you can just simply pledge it, get margin against it, and then utilize for MTF. So as you can see, I've already pledged, right? I have pledged and I have pledged worth 6,000. I pledged my holdings worth 6,000, and using that 6,000, I have bought MTF positions, right? That's what is visible here. Right. For stocks delivery, for buying stocks, I obviously need to bring in cash. So buying stocks, my margin is 299. But for investing in MTF, I can use 6,000 worth, which I have pledged. So this is the margin I can use to put in MTF. And once you click on it, you'll be able to see the complete bifurcation of it. Right. What is MTF PNL? Did I sell MTF equity trade for sell? Basically means if I have sold any MTF stock today, right? MTF opening balance. Right? Available limit is negative because one of my positions is a negative. Right? So that's why it shows negative. And I have my MTF is completely, as you can see, funded by the pledge margin. I have not bought in any additional cash. That's why this withdrawal limit is 0. Right? So I have taken MTF using completely pledge. So this is also one of the great advantages of using MTF in Sky. It's completely separate and it keeps your portfolio clean for you to manage your investments. Right? Even for withdrawal of funds, we have a separate section for MTF withdrawal. You have an MTF foreign funds, you have a separate section. Right. Final part to this is that for MTF, let's say I have already bought an MTF. I want to see what are my interest charges. Right. I have invested in MTF. How much interest have I paid? Right. So I'll just quickly check here. Yeah, we're using our search. Okay, we have this, right? MTF form. As you can see, you can search also. Using a search, you have access to all this report section, MTF position summary, MTF margin summary, MTF eligible scripts, right? But okay, so I'll still show you going to reports because all reports are easily accessible there. Right. So going to Sky Reports, under the MTF tab, you can see MTF interest. I can click on it, and for whatever period, let's say for the last 7 days, I want to see what interests I have paid. So I can download the report here. So I'll just quickly show you guys that it's very clear bifurcation. 1 second, find that. Right. So as you can see the MTF positions and very clear bifurcation. What about the interest is charged and at what rate? Right. As you can see yesterday on 5th November, 5th November, so yeah, 5th November, for each position, what interest rate was charged very clearly bifurcated in this report. Right. For this time period of 7 days, total interest charged to me was only 21 rupees, right? And my position was worth around, I'm not sure what value, I think around 13,000 or something, and only 20 rupees in the last 7 days, right? And per day, if you can see, it's around roughly 3 rupees, right? So as you can see here also, for 5th November, only 3 rupees was charged, right? So this gives clear clarity on me managing my funds as well. Yeah, so when did I buy the position, for what interest, for how much was charged? Very clearly, it is available here, right? MTF interest report. So we'll just quickly come back to MTF. Right. For even squaring off positions, you are free to square off here. Right. Whenever you wish to, then square off. You have to select MTF cell and just square it off. Um, and as I said, we have research section also for MTF dedicatedly, where you can see live calls, and I showed you guys reports also. Also, you can go and have access to past reports, right? For you to get a confidence about how did these guys do, or what happened to the calls. You get real-time updates about any recommendation, whether it's the time to exit, is the time to add more, is the time exit करना है, but अभी profit book हो गया, profit book कर लियो, target तक नहीं जाने वाला, या target पर आ गया, या फिर stop loss hit हुआ, and all of it you get real time updates, right? Early trigger, early exit, right? Time horizon expired, so all of this you get very clearly regarding MTF calls as well. And as you can see, most of it is in profit, which is good. Right? But obviously, there will be stocks where stop loss will get it, right? So you can see here, 1% loss. Right? This recommendation will, but obviously there are much more in profit as well. Right? So we have to, and you can see the sticker live. It will keep going, and you will get a notification as well. Right? This only not for MTF, but MTF long term, mid term, there are no close calls. MTF, it's under, as I said, 1 year horizon because 275 days only can hold max, right? So the recommendation for MTF will obviously not cross more than that. It will be lesser than that. For example, this you see Kalpatha Project International Limited, 10% upside in 2 days. So that's the recommendation. You can click on it, right? And you can view the details here. Okay. Yeah, and once you place an MTF order, it will appear in your order book, right? So yeah, you can, as I said, you can use pledge margin for MTF, trade in MTF, nominal charges, 1% interest rate. Profit is completely taken home by you. Loss also, unfortunately, if applicable, has to be borne by the customer or by you, right? And but in Sky, you get clear bifurcation about the margin used and the amount borrowed, and you get the option to convert it as well. Let's say you have it in MTF, right? But you want to convert the script. Yeah, I don't want to pay interest anymore. I have enough cash at this point. I want to hold it as in my holdings. I want to. So you have the option to convert. You can click on convert, and you can select whichever you want to convert and convert it to holdings, right? That facility is also there. So once you buy an MTF, you decide to change it back, you can obviously change it back. Okay, now, so all the benefits for holdings, right? Dividends, corporate action, same are applicable in MTF also. The stock will be present in your Demat only, right? In your DP. So you can see it in your DP report as well. It will be pledged, but it will be there in your DP. And you will be able to get the dividends, bonus, all corporate action benefits, same as holdings. There is no difference. Only difference is 275 days is the max holding period. There is a nominal interest rate for the amount borrowed for MTF position that will be charged. That's it. And you for buying cash, you need to bring in funds upfront. For MTF, you can use your funds or you can pledge your holdings if you have existing and trade an MTF, buy sell an MTF. Okay, so that is another advantage as well. Okay, brokerage charges also same as delivery. There is no difference. Um, yeah, and as I said, we have MTF additional uh, views or entire list you want to see, funding percentage you want to see, how much, everything you can see. And as well as in the report section, you have access to very clear reports as well to see how much interest was charged and when for each open position. Right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Think about MTF and HDFC Sky. You guys can try it out and please leave your valuable feedback. And yeah, that's it. So there's a question. I'll just read it out. How the interest is charged if you sold the stock in MTF less than a month? So interest is charged daily. As the report I showed you, I'll just show it. Interest will be debited daily. Right. So less than a month, 2 days, 3 days doesn't matter. 1 day, obviously, there'll be no interest charged. After 1 day, there'll be interest charged on the borrowed amount. Right. So interest will be charged daily computation. So that's an advantage also. Some brokers do it monthly or every 15 days. That creates confusion. I had one for 3 days, I had for 4 days, but then they charge on pro rata basis. So, but in this case, in Sky, we made very simple. So it's very clear to you by every position wise. You can come check your daily interest report. This will be available in a ledger also. Not this interest, MTF interest debit, but you can come and see it here also clearly. Yeah. Yeah. Let's come back to Sky. Yeah. Anything else? Any other question? Then
No, Roshan, I
just
guess
wait.
we have covered
Yeah.
all the questions.
All right. Awesome. ठीक है. ठीक है. Done. I guess then.
Okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
ending the
Thank you very
presentation.
much. Yeah.